Hello, welcome to the GIS training. A GIS, or Geographical Information System, is a software application that provides the ability to present and analyze spatial and geographical data, such as digital maps or geolocalized data. The data provided by the CMEMS portal also include coordinates information and therefore can be loaded into a GIS. The objective of this training is to learn how to use a geographical information system in order to visualize and analyze CMEMS data. So let's open the GIS. So we use QGIS. It's a free, open source, widely used system, part of the OSGeo program. So we open it, we have an empty project. Let's open the project. It's completely empty. So the first thing we need to do is to install the add-on we're going to use during this session. We're going to use two add-ons. The add-on or plugin are also completely free and are very easy to install. So we go to Plugin, Manage and Install Plugins. And we're going to search for the OpenStreetMap plugin. OpenLayers plugin. So we select it and install it. For this, we have to be connected to the internet. So it's installed through the internet automatically. So the first one is installed. Second plugin we want to install is the Time Manager. So we select the Time Manager and install it. Also very easy, very quick to install. Okay, so now it's installed, we close it. We have the Time Manager here, but we're going to use it later, so let's close it also. So now we have an empty project and we want to start to load information. But before this, let's check the geographical projection, the coordinate system. So here it's set up to 4326, which is the standard longitude, latitude in degree coordinate system. And this is what we want to use because the CMEMS data come in this coordinate system. If we want to change it, we can click on here and select the coordinate systems they propose. But here we're happy with this. Okay. So now let's put the background maps. So we have installed OpenLayer. So let's put the OpenLayer plugin, OpenStreetMap. So we go to the Web tab here, Plugin, OpenStreetMap, and let's choose the OpenStreetMap here. Now we have an OpenStreetMap background. Also during this course, we want to be able to toggle between OpenStreetMap, which is the full background, and a more lighter background, and just showing the country boundaries. And this is the opportunity to also to show you how to load layers through a protocol called WMS. So everything in QGIS is layers. So here we're going to add another layer, which is WMS layer. Okay, so WMS is also internet-based protocol. So we connect on a remote server. The server is it's a demo map server, and here is the URL you have to type in. It's already done, and so we type this URL in, and it comes into this list here. So now we connect to the server, and the server displays all the available information they have. So here we are interested in the country boundaries, so which is the default country boundaries here, and then we add it. Okay, let's close. Okay, so we can see nothing for the moment, just open layers. But we're going to zoom and we will see it. So now we have backgrounds, maps. We want to start to install Siemens data. So the data coming from Siemens come into a very widely used format called NetCDF. And NetCDF can be opened directly in QGIS. So we go to a layer, again, add a layer, and the NetCDF file is seen in QGIS as a raster layer. So we select a raster layer. We have a window open here, and we will find our NetCDF file. So here we select first the data coming from the from models, and this is a biological model, and we use the monthly means data. Monthly means, here it is. Okay, so we select and then we add. Now, this NetCDF file is a complex file. It's really designed to handle multidimensional data, such as data containing latitude, longitude, plus time, so it can be in 3D, or it can even contain latitude, longitude, elevation, or depth, and time, so it's like in 4D. So here it can also contain multiple variables. So here we have to select the variable. So it's biological data. So we select the chlorophyll. We select the NO3, the O2, and the PO4. The other layers are not interesting for this course. Okay, so now we can close this. Okay, so where are the data? First, so here you can see the list of layers in QGIS. The list is ordered, and the layers on top of the list is the layer on top of the overlaid layers. So OpenStreetMap is underneath. It's like a background bottom layer, and here we have the layer. What we can do is we select a layer and we can zoom to this layer. And now the layer is starting to be displayed, and we can see this is the Baltic Sea. Okay, now we have our first data from NetCDF on the screen. We can see that OpenStreetMap also display the country information below. So here on this list, you can select, toggle in and out the different layers, so to be able to visualize it. Here it's visualized. Here it's not visualized. I can do the same for OpenStreetMap. I can here show our other background map, which is just the layer, the country boundaries. And we can also see that okay, the display is not exactly what we want, but we will set up this in the next part. Let's continue to upload information into our QGIS project. So here we have the model Siemens data. Now we want to upload the observation data. So again, we go to add layer here, add raster layer. And now we select a different NetCDF file from the observation. So we'll use the both files. So let's do upload this one first. Okay, now we want the crow fill only. Okay, and the other is the sea surface temperature. We can also upload. Just want the sea surface temperature, and here it is. Okay. So now we have our different data. So if we zoom on this or zoom on that, so we can see that the bounding box of the data is not the same. So later on, we're going to learn how to cut the data in the area we want to. Okay, so we can see that the data are not displayed exactly the way we want, but we change it on the next part. So let's continue to load additional data, but coming from other sources. So next we load external data coming from the EMODnet portal to add additional visual information on our map. So again, we go to the layer, we add layer, but this time we don't add a raster layer, we don't add a WFS layer, WMS layer, but we add a WFS layer. So this adds data in a vectorial format. So similar to WMS, we have to connect to a remote server. So here is the URL to connect to the EMODnet human activities server. So we connect to it, and the server lists the different information available from it. So what we're interested in the Natura 2000 information, so we can add this. Okay. We want also to see the macroalgae spots, so we can add this, and the micro and the macro seaweeds. Okay, so let's see what we have now. So I close here. Okay, so I remove the other information. So you can see that we have dots and polygons here. So first the polygons. Polygons are the Natura 2000 areas, and you can see that we have in the Baltics some areas as well. Okay, so we have the Natura 2000 areas, and we also have dots showing points where the algae production are. So we can see that we have two here, which may be interesting for us. Okay, now we have all our data laid out on a QGIS map as layers, and we want to display them in a useful and relevant way, because we can see that it's a bit messy on the screen here. So let's concentrate first on the NetCDF file. So we can remove the Natura 2000, and let's do the first NetCDF file, which is the ocean color chlorophyll. So it appears here in a strange way, so we can change the way it appears. So we go to the properties here. And here we have quite useful information. So it's a NetCDF file. So remember, it's quite a complex file. And QGIS can only display one layer at a time. Or otherwise we have to duplicate the layers, which we'll do a bit later on. So first, let's see what QGIS reads from the NetCDF file. So in the information tab here, we have a very useful information from the file. So we can see that it's NetCDF, right? We can see that it's in time, latitude, and longitude. So it's like a 3D. So we'll have to choose which time we want to display on the map. Okay, we can see that's chlorophyll. What else? We can see the unit normally. Yeah, unit here, which is quite important. So the chlorophyll comes in milligram per cubic meter. We can see the some statistics, minimum, maximum, average for each band. So what is a band here? So we have here 10 bands. The band is I'm going to okay display a bit. A band is it's a raster, so it's something in latitude and longitude. And because the NetCDF contains also time information, so we have one band per time step. So the NetCDF comes in with the time step in a special unit. So here I said the unit is the seconds since 1981, 1st of January 1981. So it's not very readable, so we have a very big number here, but we have to use it. So we can use. Okay, we'll see later how to interpret this. So here we have 10 bands with the 10 different time steps. Okay, so this is quite useful information. Then we go to the symbology. This is the way to be able to set up how the layer is going to be presented on the map. So by default it comes with multi-band color. What we want to visualize here, it's a single band in a pseudo color, and here we have the 10 bands for each time step, and QGIS can only display one at a time, so we have to select which one. So let's select the first one, for example. Okay, and then we need to select a color palette. So here we use spectral. We can invert it to have blue as a minimum and red as a maximum. We classify this and you will apply, and you will see straight away, it's much more interesting. So we will have the blue, it's less the minimum values, and it goes to the red. So we have some bit of red here with the maximum values, and so it's coming from blue to it's like a rainbow basically, blue to green to yellow to orange to red. Okay, so we have now our layer displayed correctly, at least the way we want. And we can see that the QGIS is also displaying the palette here. So let's do the same for the other NetCDF. Okay, quickly. Okay, now we are going to do the same for the other NetCDF file, which is the sea surface temperature. So let's select it, do the properties. So so let's look at the information. So here we have NetCDF. We have 10 bands. Still in second since 1991, so it's the same. And we have the temperature in Kelvin. Okay, we go to symbology. So the rendering type, we go again to single band. So here we have our 10 bands. We select the first one. We have a minimum and a maximum. We do the color ramp, same as the other one, so it's an inverse spectrum. Okay, we can apply and look at it. Okay, but what we're going to do here is to set up the transparency. Because we only want to have visible on the screen temperature above, let's say, 18 degrees. So we add a transparency band, and from okay, this is 0 to 88. To 88, it's 18 degrees in Kelvin. We apply. Let's see how it looks. Okay. Okay, that's interesting because here, so we have only the temperature between 18 and 372 Kelvin. The rest is completely transparent, so it's good because then we can overlay and we can see things above. So this can be interesting in terms of managing the visualization of the layer on the screen. Okay, so let's do it quickly for the other bands. For the okay, let's have a look at the. So this is the model from the biological model band. Okay, information here. Let's have a look. We still have 10 bands. The difference is the time is not in the same unit. So it's days since 1950. So it's not, we don't have to manage the same way. Okay, otherwise, again, we have, okay, this is nitrate concentration, and with the unit in mole by cubic meter. I do it quickly, same thing. So we have our 10 band, that's the first one. Oops. Invert, classify, apply. And now we have the concentration of nitrates. So you can see here there is a zone which can be interesting to look at it a bit further. Okay, I do the same for the other NetCDF. Okay, now we have all the NetCDF file in the right color we want. So what we see is the layer which is on top of the list. So remember, all the layers are overlaid, so on top of each other. And what we see is the layer which is the further up. So here we can see this one, which is the NO3. If I deselect it, then suddenly we see the one underneath, which is this, the chlorophyll. And we can see that it goes up to 1.5 here, and it's very low here. Okay, deselect it, so then we can see that one, which is the PO4. Okay, and then I deselect it, and we can see the O2 with a different scale, obviously. Okay, so now let's have a look at how we can change the color on the other type of information. You remember we have these dots, which is the site where they produce algae. So we have two colors. Okay, but I'm not happy with the color of the Natura 2000 areas. So I want to change it. So again, I clicked on it. And here in the style, I can change the color. I can put a nice green color. Okay. It's a bit nicer to look at. Okay, so now we have our layers. So now we're going to look on how the one parameters varies in time.